Okay, today we are going to do some electronics repair. We have these two Western snow plow controls for a snow plow on the front of a pickup truck. They just control the power, up, down, side to side, and opening and closing of the snow plow on the front. So the issue with these is they were burnt out. This one smells pretty bad, and you can hear it's got some pieces rattling around in there. So we'll open it up, we'll take out the electronic circuit and see if there is something that we can repair or a fuse. The harness of this one in the engine bay got destroyed and shorted out and burnt something inside here. So we'll take a look at that one. This one, I think it got a lot of back current from damage to the plow, and probably one of the fuses or a diode on the controller probably broke. So we'll get the circuit out of this. We'll take a look at them and see what we have. Okay, so this is the first controller that we had first that didn't have anything rattling around, but I can see here that this piece is gonna fall off and it is pretty damaged. So the first thing we can see here is there are a pair of fuses. There's one fuse here and one fuse here. We will take a look at those, make sure that they're still functional. And then we'll take a look at this diode here and we will replace that one, and that should fix this board. I don't see any other damage on it. I will take it off here and we'll take a really close look at it. So this piece was hanging on by a thread here. Let's see if we can... Yeah, it's off now. So that diode belonged right here. And then we have I'm not sure if you'll be able to read that, but here's a 5-amp fuse and also a 5-amp fuse here. So let's take a look at those. And we'll get a close look at this diode. I believe I have the replacement parts already. I took a look at this beforehand. So let's take a look at the fuses. So we'll just turn on our meter here into continuity mode. Okay, it's working. And we'll take a look at this fuse here. Okay. And then we'll take a look at an ohms mode or resistance mode. Okay, so no resistance. Well, open line. So no resistance there. Perfect. And no resistance there. Perfect. So those two fuses are good. So what we'll do is we will clean this area up and see if there's any pad left. It looks like it might be burnt on there or melted. So we'll try and clean that up with a little bit of flux. And we will try and solder a new diode on there. And that should fix this board. So I'll show you the back side as well. Okay, so the back side has some LEDs to light up the control pad, and these are where the buttons on the control pad go. So there's LEDs all the way around it, all these little white ones. So let's clean this up and get it done. We'll put some flux on there. We'll turn on our soldering iron and we'll try and clean that up. Okay, so our iron is nice and hot. We're just going to try and scrape away any of this gunk that's on here. It looks like the pads have ripped a little bit. So I see bare PCB under this one, and I also see some bare PCB under this one. But there is some pad on the side here and some pad on the top. We'll try and make use of what we can. Okay, and the part that we're replacing is a very, very tiny diode. I believe I have the right replacement parts for that. So if we look at this diode, it is cracked and it is an ST micro. I looked at the information on the chip and I found a replacement for it. I ordered 2 of them. So these are these guys here. We will take these out and we will put them on there. Okay, so it's on there. We can see if we test the solder blob on here and the end pin, it is working. And then if we test the pad on here and the solder side, it is connected. Okay, so that should work just fine. The pads were ripped off. There's not a lot we can do with what I have. So this one should be fixed. Our fuses are fine. So what we'll do is we'll say this one's done and we'll go on to the next one. We'll clean this up with a brush and some alcohol. Okay, it's not the straightest thing, but I'm not sure if you could tell, but there is a part of the ripped pad right here. A little bit difficult to see. Just above the Q5 there. And on this one, as long as we get it onto the pad that ripped off under here, which we did, we should be good. Okay, for the next one, this is what we have. So when I opened this one up, there were a lot of parts that were falling off. So we have our small bag of parts here. I will probably remove this top board and see what's underneath. It looks like there's a lot of melted or burnt plastic inside of here from all of this stuff just overheating, melting the solder and falling off. There's a light, some fuses. We'll check out those fuses and some more diodes. Okay, so we just got some solder wick. We're going to see if we can solder wick all of these up here. I'll put a little bit of flux. We'll add a little bit of solder on here. These aren't having a little trouble melting. Maybe if I turn my iron back on, maybe that's why they're having trouble melting. Okay, so we're finally able to separate these pieces. So we can see here we have quite a bit of damage underneath here as well. So we'll try and clean this up. We'll see if these MOSFETs still work. That's what they are. And this is the damage. This is the plastic piece that pretty much just melted like crazy. So we'll see if that's still functional. If not, we'll still need to order a couple parts here. So after inspecting this board, I've decided that this is way too beyond repair. So we can see here for a few things. This chip here, I don't believe we can get, and it's damaged. It's got a bulge in it, so we're not going to be able to repair that. And then all of these MOSFETs are also damaged. The only good one on here is this one here. So we can see that actually this MOSFET heated up so much that it actually moved positions. The legs are supposed to attach here and here, and the head of the MOSFET up here, and it is stuck there. I've heated it up. I can't get it detached from here, and the legs are damaged. So this MOSFET is gone. This MOSFET also is damaged. This MOSFET, you can see the board has burnt away underneath, and the trace has been ripped up and melted over to this side here on this blob. And the feet of this MOSFET are also pulling up the traces. This MOSFET here also pulled up its trace. I don't know if you can see that very good, but here's its trace. And its trace up here is ripped out. And there's the MOSFET itself. So it would be replacing multiple MOSFETs. A chip that I can't get. I don't know what this chip does, but it's damaged. And by the looks of it, this one is also damaged. It is quite burnt. So I was hoping that the extent of the damage was just to this top board with a couple of diodes, rectifying diodes here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and reattaching the light, replacing a fuse. But once we got this board off, it is far too damaged. Even this board underneath all of this, the second layer of this PCB is burnt and damaged. You can see some of this. These copper traces are on the second layer there. They're not going to be, we're not going to be able to repair this. So the first one should be repaired. Let's take a look. Wasn't much damage to this one. It was just a diode. All of these MOSFETs work fine. The fuses are good. And there's not really anything on the other side except for some LED lights. So we'll test this one out. This one should work. At least we've saved this one. This one, not savable, unfortunately. So, thanks for watching. Sometimes things just aren't repairable. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!